What's happening, kinfolk? Welcome back to the channel, Knuckles TV. Knuckles coming at you. As you can tell, today we are not in Dixon's. We're not in no nice clothes. That's because today we're getting dirty. Fuck. So y'all stay tuned. I'll show you what's happening. Alright, kinfolk. So today what we're doing is, you see I have the Buggy behind me, our Can-Am Maverick 1000. And if you didn't watch the last mudding video I did, click that card up there and take a peek, because you'll find out exactly why we're over here working. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you anyway. We took the Buggy, man, and I ended up swamping the Buggy. So swamping the Buggy means I drove it off into the water, and yeah, I got water all in the intake, all in the motor, in the oil, everywhere. So today what we have to do, man, is I have to drain all the oils, drain all the fluids, check everything, and trying to get it going again. So so that's what we're gonna do today. I am not a professional. This is the first time I've ever done this, just saying. So don't take everything I say is the way to do it. This is just how I'm gonna do it. And this is how I was told to go ahead and try to do it. So that's what we're gonna do, man. Let me show you exactly what it looks like when you have water in your oil. All right, so on the Can-Am, the oil dipstick is over here on the passenger side. You gotta take the seat off. And you know, oil is usually black, so this is what it looks like when you have water in it. Looks like chocolate milk. You see that? The brown tan color. Not good. Not good at all. So like I said, I've got to clean all that out, man. We're gonna flush the motor probably about 3 or 4 times to try to get all that water and stuff out of there, and see if we can't get the motor running good again. So just to let y'all know, if you ever swamp your Buggy or you swamp your four-wheeler or even drive your car into water and it cuts out, first thing you do not do is crank it back up. Because what happens, man, is if you end up having water in the motor, in the cylinders, what it's going to do is you try to crank it back up, there's nowhere for the cylinder to move, so something's got to give. And 9 out of 10 times it's going to be a part inside the motor. So do not do that, man. If you end up swamping your Buggy, just what we had to do is I got winched out, and then once I got winched out, I got towed back to camp. We ended up draining the air box. The air box was full of water. I drained the belt drive casing. It was full of water. And then we pulled the spark plugs. And once we pulled the spark plugs, then we went ahead and hit the start button and turned it over. And that shot all the water out of the heads there. So once we did that, the rear cylinder didn't get any water in it. So I ended up putting that plug back in, and then we fired it up and let it run for just a minute, shoot the rest of that water out of there, and then we put the other plug back in, and then I had to crank it up to drive it back on the trailer, and then that's where it sat. So I didn't mess with it after that. The only thing I'm concerned about is I did not get to it right away, right? So this happened a couple weekends ago. Well, actually last weekend when I'm filming this, so it's been a week that it's just been sitting. If something happens like this, try to get to it as soon as possible, man. The quicker you get that shit out of there, the better. The place we go to, Creekside, that water's got nothing but sand. As you can tell in here, I mean, I took it to the pressure wash, to the car wash, and tried to rinse everything off, but I mean, it's just full of sand, man. And that's what's gonna be inside the motor. So yeah, so we're gonna try to flush everything out. I'm gonna do both differentials as well. I gotta check the gearbox oil, which is transmission, and then I gotta check my fuel tank. I gotta check the brake fluid and the coolant. So it's a big ordeal, man, if you end up doing something like this. So be careful and don't drink as much beer. Right, Mello? Mm-hmm. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, man, is we got to take all these covers off. So we're going to take the passenger side as well as the driver's side. I'm going to take the center console out as well, because I want to get to the spark plug wires and pull them off and just go over them and look at them real quick. But you don't have to do that, man, because we're going to take this off so I can get to the gas tank, and then we'll drain the oil and let it drain for a while, and then I'll remove the other side, because that's where the belt drive is. So that's where the belt casing's at. And I'm just going to take that off and clean it out, man, because I know there's a bunch of sand in there as well. So clean it out, blow it out, do a little soap and water, degreaser, none of that stuff, man. You don't want to put any kind of lube back in there. Because it's a belt, so it'll end up slipping if you do that. So we're just going to use soap and water and just try to get it cleaned out. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that, and then I'll get back with y'all in a minute. All right, so we just pulled the drain plug. Make sure you don't lose your little washer there. And oh shit, it's pissing everywhere. The wind's not making it any better either. So that's what it looks like coming out of there. Just disgusting. Ew. Oh gosh. All right, so we're gonna let that drain for a while. I should have put a piece of cardboard under there, but look, this is, can you see that? That's water in your oil. Oh, son of a... Fuck! Looks like I'm pissing in the wind. Alright, let's let that drain. Alright, so this here is another filter. It's behind this cover here. And it shouldn't be bad because the water it did not get that high. The water was probably about like in here, yeah? Mm-hmm. Or was about like right in here. There. Mm-hmm. So this should be fine, but I'm gonna pull it out and check it because I've never. Oh yeah, see, it's just this screen here. So I'll just rinse this off real good, clean it off real good, and stick it back in there. I don't know if that's supposed to have like a foam filter or not. Huh. Maybe I need to do some research. I'll do some research, see what I come up with. Alright y'all, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the fuel pump out, and that way I can look directly into the tank. I cleaned this area off with the brake cleaner and scrubbed it down good. You don't want to get any trash in there. Hopefully it don't have fucking water in there, so, but we'll see. So let's take it off and see what we can see. Actually don't look bad. I think we're good there. So what I'll probably do is just put some fuel cleaner in there and just run it like that. So we should be good. All right. So this here is your your fill plug for your gearbox, which is transmission, and your drain plug is going to be right underneath it here. I pulled this off. Be careful with this because this is plastic. But I pulled it off and I can't see any oil or anything, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and drain it and see what it looks like, and then just fill it back up. So that's what I'm going to do now. Pretty thick though. I don't know if it's got water in it, but it's dirty as shit. So we're gonna change that too. Alright, Ken folks, so the drain plug is size 13, and then your fill plug is a 15. So, and then like I said, just be careful with the fill plug because it's plastic. And you want to clean all this gunk off of this metal. It's a magnet there. Just clean all that junk out of there. So the bad thing is with this, that way we're doing it now is because I couldn't crank it and I didn't want to run the motor like that. Everything's cold, so it makes it a little harder to drain all the oils because everything's cold. So once we start refilling stuff, we'll be able to crank it up and let it run through and stuff, and then go from there. So let's continue. Alright, Ken folks, so on your front differential, the fill plug is going to be right here. It's going to be on the right side of the buggy, towards the front, right behind the bumper here. That's your fill plug, and then your drain is going to be this Allen head right there. So I actually already pulled the fill plug and checked it, and it looks pretty good as far as the oil does. So I think I'm going to leave that. And on the rear one, fill plug is here on the right side as well. I don't know if can you see that?
Show it again.
That's gonna be right here, right behind your axle.
Okay.
And then your drain plug is underneath on the driver's side, and it will be this little Allen head right here. It's going to be right there. So when you get underneath on the driver's side, right underneath your axle, there's a little hole here, and that's your drain plug. So that's where that's at.